And we're back here on MCW as the MCW Georgia heavyweight champion Billy Black, along with Honest John, squares off against Rukkus.
You know, in talking to Billy Black and Honest John, one thing about Honest John, he's a big man and he has a lot of words to say. But in one thing in talking about him, and I tried to make an impression on him and on Billy Black, that if you're going to get respect in MCW, this is a tough conference of professional wrestling. You're going to get respect here. You got to earn it in the ring. Now, Billy Black is a tough customer. We know that, and he is the MCW Georgia champion. But the fact remains, at some point in time, he and the Colorado Kid are going to have to collide. There's going to have to be one champion in MCW.
That's right, and also I understand several wrestlers are lining up to get a crack at the MCW Georgia Heavyweight Championship as MCW Georgia makes its presence felt. And as far as Honest John, he comes out, he says he wants respect from the fans. I don't understand why they don't give it to him. My Uncle Dennis told me he bought a used car from Honest John, and it's the greatest car he's ever owned.
Well, he's going to have to earn it around here, that's for sure. Rukkus, the opponent in this match for the Georgia champion of MCW, Billy Black. You know, I hate to see factions develop in professional wrestling, but there seems to be a definite schism, if you would, in MCW between the Georgia faction and the Tennessee faction. And Bill Behrens, who is the distributor of MCW, of course, out of Atlanta.
And he does a fine job at it.
And he does do a good job at it, but he is a distributor. You know, quite frankly, I don't try to be matchmaker, or I don't try to be referee, or I don't try to be manager. I just try to call the action as best I can for the fans at home. But the fact of the matter remains is that there definitely is a division between the Georgia faction and the Tennessee faction in MCW. And I, quite frankly, I hate to see it.
Well, what you have to realize is that what Bill Behrens does for MCW and what Bert Prentice does for MCW cannot be compared. If you just have Bert Prentice, what do you have? A small local promotion based out of Nashville, Tennessee.
Mr. Getz, I disagree with you. First of all, I've worked with many, many promoters over my career, and I've got to tell you, Bert Prentice is an outstanding promoter, and I'll tell you what makes him good. Number one, he listens to the fans, and number two, he pits wrestlers in the ring, both on television and in the matches in the arenas across the country, that fans would absolutely live and breathe to see. And that makes him a good promoter.
You say he listens to the fans. He listens to the Nashville fans. What Bill Behrens does, he provides MCW programming for stations all across the country and gets feedback from people all across the country seeing what they want. And so Bert represents a very small cross-section of the United States population, and Bill Behrens represents a much larger scope of it.
Billy Black, the Georgia MCW champion, with that arm bar on Rukkus. Here comes Rukkus firing back. Billy Black taken to the ropes, but he lifted the foot and put it in the midsection, and Rukkus goes down. You know, and it also, I have to raise the question, and every time I see a character like an Honest John at ringside, especially in the corner of a man like Billy Black, who's a tough customer on his own, what does Billy Black need with Honest John? I mean, Billy Black is a champion. He can take care of himself. Honest John, to me, is more like a leech that sort of leeches on to whoever's got the goal.
Well, as we've discussed in the past, professional wrestling is not just a physically demanding sport, it's also a mentally demanding sport. And if you have someone, a manager, to take care of contract negotiations and endorsement deals for you, then that allows you more concentration on what's going on inside the squared circle. And it certainly doesn't seem to hurt Billy Black, as he has the advantage on his opponent, Rukkus.
One thing about Billy Black, he is in big demand. I had an opportunity to read an email on the web of MCW Wrestling, which, by the way, www.mcwrestling.com, on a very, very hot wrestling website. But I got a chance to read an email this week where Billy Black is rumored to be going to Asia and may even be wrestling in Singapore by putting his title on the line. And that's the last thing you want to do with MCW. You don't want to see that belt end up in Asia, where you got to send somebody over there to get the doggone thing back.
What's wrong with Asia? Have you ever been there?
No, unfortunately, I haven't.
Beautiful place. My Uncle Dennis went there, told me all about it.
Your Uncle Dennis?
Yes, my Uncle Dennis. But as we're talking about Billy Black, and as we've talked about, international experience is what can often make the difference. Billy Black goes for a cover, only gets a 2 count, and Billy Black has extensive experience in Japan, overseas, and also on nationwide TV on ESPN not too long ago with the Global Wrestling Federation, and now here in MCW. That seems to spell the difference, as wrestlers have had a hard time taking that Georgia heavyweight title off of his waist.
Right now, Billy Black with a short arm bar on Rukkus and putting the pressure on. This is sort of an old style. I hate to use the word old style, but it is. It's an old school wrestling hold. It's that short arm bar, and this can take an awful lot out of a man. You've got a young man in there in Rukkus that has a lot of strength and a lot of stability and a lot of energy, but right now, the veteran expertise of Billy Black beginning to take over in this match.
Well, there's a lot of debate about old style or old school versus new style or new school. And the basic fact of the matter, back in 1913, the state of New York and the city of Detroit banned the headlock. Mind you, the headlock, because it was a potentially lethal maneuver. People think that the old style doesn't work anymore, but as we're seeing right now, Billy Black is using it to perfection.
And right now, Billy Black neutralizing his opponent. He's got him outside the ring ropes, and he's just trying to keep him at bay outside. And right now, referee Gene Johnson turning his attention to Honest John, who continues to caroom around the ring side or the floor area. There's a body slam by Black. He followed with the elbow, but nobody home. Rutkus up and out of the way. Let's see if he can make a comeback right here, because Rutkus has an opportunity. The window of opportunity open, and now he drops the knee across the chest of Billy Black.
He's taken a lot of punishment throughout this match, but he sees this as his chance. Remember, it only takes 3 seconds, although Rutkus might be taking a little too much time on the top rope, and nobody home.
They're right about that. High-risk maneuver gave Billy Black time to recuperate, and the MCW Georgia champion goes back to where he started, taking over on Rutkus. Now Billy Black going, look at this moonsault. Somersault down, 1, hooks the leg, 2, 3. There you see the veteran expertise of Billy Black hooking that leg and taking the victory over Rutkus. Wrestling fans, as you saw Billy Black victorious here in our match, I want to call out a man who is back here at MCW, and I'm glad to see him. He has been hurt, but he's back. Rex King, good to see you. Looks like you've healed up pretty well there, my friend.
Yes, sir, I have. You know, I got some things that's been on my mind and on my heart, and I need to come out here and I need to set them straight with all these people. You know, you got some of the greatest fans here in Music City Wrestling.
I agree with that, absolutely.
And what really woke me up was that all this time, and of course everybody knows what happened to my arm, everybody knows what happened to my ankle. And I've had a lot of time to think about it, and while I was sitting at home, I found out that people were calling the office, they were sending get well cards, and you just don't know how that makes a guy feel. You know, when you're down, when the chips are down and these people are standing behind me, it made me feel real good. But on to a more serious note.
Hey, I want to get something straight. I'm here, you out here whining and crying to all these people. What about the way you done me over in Japan? I don't hear you talking about what you did to me over in Tokyo.
I don't know what you're talking about. You know,
I don't sit out here and play stupid. We already know you're stupid. I'm telling you what happened in Japan, and these people have the right to know.
I know you, Billy. I mean, I know you. I ain't gonna say I don't know you, but I mean, it's not like we hung around. You know, I mean, I saw you in Japan. Yeah.
Hey, maybe you have a memory problem. Maybe somebody needs to smarten you up.
Holy cow! Rex King and Billy Black going to town right in front of us here on the cameras as Billy Black interfered in Rex King's interview, and you do not want to get Rex King mad at you.
Well, it looks like we have found a contender for the MCW Georgia Heavyweight Champion, and that is Rex King. Billy Black alluded to a pass these two had together over in Japan, and whatever it was, it seemed to have fired up Rex King to a whole new level as Billy Black and Honest John are trying to make a hasty retreat, but Rex King has him cut off.
Rex, I don't know what happened.
I'll tell you what, Michael said. I don't know what happened either. I don't know who he thinks he is. I'll tell you what, he thinks he knows who I am. He's got me messed up for somebody else. Because he better be there tonight in Nashville. Because I got something, you know, Rex King's taking a lot of stuff from a lot of people, but Rex King's not getting knocked down no more, and Rex King's not getting walked on no more. I'm here to stay. Billy Black, you want to find out who Rex King is, you show up tonight in Nashville.
Let's take a look at the entire Nashville card tonight.
World Wrestling